Hi ladies, Jackie Sabrin here, and I want to talk to you about 6 tips to fast track a commitment. 6 tips to fast track to a commitment. And so those of you who don't know me really quick, Jackie Sabrin, your love coach, and I am really, really passionate about helping women get engaged at any age. I was engaged after dating my husband from Match.com after 8 months and single for 8 years. We were married in 2 years. And a lot of women ask me the question, what's the timeline? What's the flow and stage of a relationship? How long should it take? How long until he commits? So I wanted to just give you some tips, 6 tips to fast track yourself to a commitment. And this is going to help you to stay on track so that you don't waste your precious time, because I'm all about helping you to not waste your precious time. And those of you who want to continue to watch my videos, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Engaged at Any Age, by just going to YouTube and typing in Engaged at Any Age, and you'll find my channel, and just hit subscribe so you don't miss any more of my my trainings. Okay, so here are 6 things that you can do to help fast track a commitment. I mean, we all want to know if we're going to be with him, if he's the one. And so here's a guide for you. And so from the very beginning, what you want to do is make sure that you're really clear with your date on what it is you're looking for. I think the biggest mistake women make in the very beginning is not speaking your truth, is being afraid to share what you want. But the more you practice this, the easier it gets. I really highly recommend that you begin to practice the script, or whatever you want to call it, on asking for what you want, and sharing that with a man. And so you want to be absolutely clear with him that you're dating, because you want to, and you can say, you know, I'm really excited about finding my special someone to spend the rest of my life with. What about you? You can say it like that. You can say, I'm really excited about having a family someday. I really see myself with 3 kids and settled down. And, you know, what about you? And so you don't even know the person. Why it's important to say this right up front is because he's a stranger. You're not asking him to marry you. You're not putting any pressure on him whatsoever. You're basically both vetting each other, just talking about what your expectations are and your interests are. And right up front, it's so easy if you're on the phone. And say, for example, you're on the phone, you went off the dating site, you got on the phone, and maybe it came from Tinder or Bumble, so you can't really see what he's looking for, and you're like talking to him just about some casual things, and you're like, so, you know, how's it going for you? What is it you're looking for? So you just ask him right then and there on the phone, and he might say, well, I'm just newly divorced, so I'm just really dating to have fun. It's more casual for me. And then you say, great, wow, that's wonderful. Congratulations on your divorce. Yeah, I'm looking for, you know, a long-term committed relationship, someone to spend the rest of my life with. I've been divorced for 5 years, so I'm really ready. And then you can just, so now you already know it's not a match. So you don't have to end the conversation. You can say, so how's it going? You know, how's it going? How's it feel to be online? And continue the conversation for another 10 minutes or so. And then say, well, you know, it was really nice to meet you. I know that we're not a match because I feel, you know, from what you shared, we want different things. And so I'm gonna take off, but it was great meeting you, and good luck. I'm sure you're gonna meet a fantastic woman. And then you can get off the phone. It's that simple. If you don't establish that right up front, it's even easier to do on the phone than even on a date, because you don't want to get all the way on a date, dressed, your hair, makeup, and everything, and then get there and find out that he's just dating for fun. So a man will say that he's interested in something more serious. He will say that to you, especially if he doesn't know you, because you're not really putting any pressure on him. And if he doesn't share, if he's evasive, or if he avoids the answer, then you really have your answer already, because he's not even willing to be intimate about what he wants. Maybe he just doesn't even know. And so maybe you would say something like, I'm really clear on what I'm looking for, and I've spent a lot of time getting clear, and that's really important to me. So maybe the next step for you is to spend some time figuring that out, you know. And so, you know, I wish you the best on that journey. Sometimes it takes as long as it takes. So again, always remaining really positive in this whole process is what I recommend. And so you just want to make sure that you're in sync in the very beginning, within the first 3 dates, that you are both dating for the same reason. Now, whether or not you're a match, that has yet to be seen, right? So So the second tip that I want to share with you on fast tracking you to a commitment is to believe what you hear. If a man says that he's dating for casual, to meet casually, then believe him, because he's giving you really important information. Don't try to convert him, because your energy is great and you guys have great chemistry and you're really attracted to him and he's really good looking, or he has a lot of money, or whatever the reasons are. It doesn't matter what they are. He doesn't want what you want. That's the number one key to it. And there can be times when there are exceptions to this rule, and I can't really go into every single one of them, so I'm just going to give you a hard and fast rule. But I know that there are exceptions, that you can convert a man, or a man will change his mind, but I don't recommend that. When I was dating my husband, I asked him on the phone the first time we spoke, so what are you looking for? Why are you online? What are you dating for? And he said, I'm interested in a long-term committed relationship. And I go, yeah, so am I. And so then we just kept talking. It was just so casual. It was just like we just went through it. It wasn't a big deal. Here's the thing with him, though. He was married for 25 years before he met me. And so he had already had a long-term committed relationship. And I feel, in my humble opinion, that men have been married for a long period of time, and then again, this is my opinion, will want to get back into the nook with a woman. They're accustomed to being in a relationship, and they stayed in that relationship because there's a lot about the relationship that they liked, or that they feel more comfortable in a relationship than out. And so I would say most people feel more comfortable in a relationship than out. So again, if he tells you that he's only interested in dating for casual, then I would believe him, unless there's some different circumstances that would make that an exception. But I would definitely believe him, especially if he tells you right out the bat. So remember, you're looking for a long-term committed relationship that leads to marriage, leads to living together, leads to a life partnership, whatever it is for you. Do not waver on that. That's the first rule in the law of attraction. You have to really be so clear on what you want. And then, of course, not being afraid to share what you want within the first 3 dates, especially in the first phone call. And so the third tip that I want to give you, so you can fast track your ability to get a commitment out of a man, is to look at his actions. His actions are going to tell you everything. They tell everything. And your actions really tell everything too. So you want to watch your own fear of commitment, the things that start to surface as you get closer to someone. And so going back to looking at his actions. So if he's showing up for you, he's calling you, he's texting you, he's taking you out, he's thinking about you, considering you in future plans, making comments about things you guys could do together down the road, then those are signs that he's considering you as a potential partner, because he's showing up. And it's all about the words. It's all about the action, less about the words. So make sure you keep an eye on those actions. If his actions start not matching his words, then you definitely have a problem. And you can't trust someone that doesn't follow through. And when you really want a committed relationship, having a man that follows through is really the most important thing, because you need someone that you can depend on. And I certainly want someone I can depend on. So their actions really start to become the thing that stands out the most. And so the fourth tip that I want to give you and how to fast track a commitment is to live your own life. You want to be keeping your hobbies, keeping your friends. And if you don't have any hobbies, get something going for yourself. It could be joining a book club. I mean, I'm not saying that you need to climb a mountain, it's just you need to have interest so that you have something to talk about. You want to have your own interest. You want to keep those interests up all through the relationship, because when you get involved, somebody cannot hold you as their object of attention 24/7. It's just impossible. We all have jobs, we have family, we have other things that pull our attention away. So as long as you're grounded in your own life, you'll have that, you'll feel secure in you, so that if it doesn't work out, you have a life to fall back into, or you don't even have to fall back into it, because you never let it go to begin with. So you want to make sure you maintain those interests and keep striving for that balance. So the fifth thing that I want to share, so that you can fast track your way to a commitment, is you want to look at a reasonable time frame and stick with it. So for me, what I feel is a reasonable time frame is 2 years tops to meet a man, to date, to become exclusive, to get engaged and be married. I think 2 years. I mean, maybe a little over 2 years, under 2 years. I certainly have clients that have been married in 6 months. And I especially believe this to be true as we age. I feel that we're more clear on what we want. We're more skilled in those areas in our ability to determine and see those the red flags and just bypass them as we mature. And so it can take less. And I think it's okay to get married in 6 months if you meet somebody and you guys are clicking from the very minute and you have these discussions. And why wait, especially when you're older? So make sure you stick to your timeline. And so what's reasonable? So I make sure that you establish what you want within the first 3 dates so that you're not dating and going, I don't know what he really wants. So after the first, 3 weeks, you're looking for him to ask you to be exclusive. He initiates that conversation, not sleeping with a man unless he has initiated the exclusivity conversation and you've had the STD conversation. Talk about sleeping together, what that looks like, and maybe even talking about a vision for the future. You can just say things really sweetly like, so, you want to take it to the next level. Like, wow, I've been thinking nothing about that. So since we're talking about it, why don't we just throw in that talk about, our health? Let's have that conversation right here. And so you can just drop it into the conversation right then and there. I'd recommend doing that, not when you're like, in an intimate position, because that can really damper the mood. So, play around with that, but make sure you have that conversation. And so then after you become exclusive, those first couple of months should really show you what his intentions are. He already knows if he's going to commit to you. I think that women actually take longer to decide, or women have just as much fear of commitment than men do, and maybe even more so. So we have to continue to work on our own blocks and emotional issues that come up when we get close to a man. And so if you're dating a man for longer than 6 months and you guys aren't planning a future together, 6 months, 7 months, I would definitely sit him down. And, I would say 8 months would be the cutoff, really. I mean, 8 months. So, but you decide. So this is where you have to establish a reasonable timeline in your mind. For me, it was like 6 months, but then it got to 7 months and I was really going, okay, this is not going where I want it to go. So I'm going to sit down and have a talk with Michael. And so that's what I did. I had a talk with him. And you have this talk with him when you really are detached from an outcome. You really want to be with him, but if he's not interested in what you're interested in, which is a long-term committed relationship that's planning a marriage, then you're willing to leave the relationship. You're willing to vote with your feet and find somebody else that is feeling that at that time in their life. And so it's important. And why I say that, so it wasn't like I was just going to give him up, but in a way, yes, because what I wanted needed to be the most important thing. You have to make your dream the most important thing. And they need to know that, because them knowing that makes them, first of all, you're more of a challenge. And they know that you're really clear on what you want and that you will leave the relationship if you don't get what you want, and you'll find somebody who will give you what you want. So sometimes it comes down to timing. And so I hope that doesn't sound really harsh, but what I'm trying to say is that it just comes down to timing. If you have that conversation, so it could sound something like this, and I love this word vision. Baby, what's your vision for us? What do you see for our future together? And then be quiet and let him talk. Let him tell you what his vision is. Now, if he doesn't share anything with you, the next day, ask him, say, last night we were talking, I asked you what our vision was and you didn't say anything. I'm wondering what's going on with that. Usually when we talk, you're more than happy to share with me. So when you're holding back, that's not okay with me. I need you to be completely forthright with me. So that's an intimacy issue. If your guy isn't giving you any feedback on the vision, he knows what it is, he's not being forthright with you, then that's an intimacy violation. Because if you're sleeping with him and you have this close relationship, you're spending the night at his house, he's spending the night at your house, you have the right, it is your right in terms of the intimacy of that relationship. It requires that you're both emotionally honest. If you're not emotionally honest, then you don't really have, by definition, an intimate relationship, because relationships that are emotionally honest are emotionally intimate. And that's what you're looking for him to be intimate with how he feels. So he might be afraid to share that with you, but you still have to continue to ask him. And then, eventually, if he's not willing to share that with you, you can say, I see I'm not getting the answer from you that I really feel I deserve. And because of that, I really need to step back and do some soul searching to see what I'm going to do next. And I would say I'm not breaking up with you, but I definitely need to just spend some time alone to get clear on what I want to do about this, because I don't want to spend my time with you when you're not able to be emotionally honest with me. So you say that coming from love. I mean, you let him know that it's unacceptable to be emotionally withholding, because you're kind of setting up the relationship to be that way. That's why you have that hard talk. Now, be prepared for him to walk. And that's okay, because if he does, you have your answer. So I know that's painful, but you cannot stay in relationships that aren't going anywhere. That's why you want to have a timeline. You want to be clear. So he might withdraw as well and spend some time in his cave thinking about what is he really going to do if you do choose to leave him. Well, guess what? He's going to come back around if he really sees a future with you, and he's going to solidify it with plans for the future, and that's going to make you so happy, and then things will move forward. If he doesn't come back around and he doesn't solidify things for a future, then you haven't wasted any more time. You have learned the skill of, sticking your neck out and having a lot of emotional courage, which is what you really have to have if you want to be in a committed, exclusive, long-term relationship. It takes a lot of emotional courage to be in a relationship, because you have to show somebody who you really are. And that takes courage, and it takes knowing who you are. And so the bottom line is, don't waste your precious time, is my last tip. Be more emotionally courageous right up front and all through the relationship. Set appointments to talk about things that are delicate, that are uncomfortable. If it's uncomfortable, that's a sign you probably need to talk about it. And ladies, I want to share with you my enrollment for my Bridge to Love program is still open. This is my 5-week program that I'm going to teach you how to have these conversations, how to have every step of this fast tracking process, how to move through it effortlessly with grace and ease, and how to set it up in a way that a man is really receptive to you asking him these questions. That's what I'm going to teach you, because I've done it in my own relationships, and I've been married twice, and both times I was engaged in under 8 months. The first time was 6 months, second time was 8 months, and married in 2 years. So this timeline really works for me, and I know it can work for you. And so I want to teach you that in this Bridge to Love program. So make sure you go check it out. You can register right now. I'm offering this unbelievable special price for $97. You get over $2,000 in bonuses. There's 5 live calls, $2,000 in bonuses. And all those bonuses are actual trainings to teach you how to communicate with men, how to avoid your emotional triggers, how to be irresistible, all of these tools that you really need in your toolkit in order to move this relationship forward in a graceful way, but to fast track it, because I don't believe it should take time. And that's why I like the word fast track. So if you go to bridgetoloveclub.com, you can just go to straight to the cart for $97, pick up the program, and I'll add you to my secret Facebook group where we're coaching women 24/7. We have 4 coaches in there, including myself. So you're really missing out on a golden opportunity to move yourself forward. Starts next week. We start next week. I'm so excited to be spending Valentine's Day with some amazing women. Wednesday, the 14th, I'm going to be starting the program, so you've got a limited time to take advantage of that. Again, it's bridgetoloveclub.com. Go there right now, register, and you'll receive all the information in your inbox, and we'll start connecting in a more intimate way so I can start teaching you these skills that you need to learn if you want a committed relationship this year. Okay, I hope this was helpful, ladies. Lots of love to you. Bye-bye.